Merry Christmas, everybody. Unless it's not, it's a bit of a weird week for fantasy. Hi, I'm Bob Harris, senior editor of FootballDiehards.com. Time for the Week 16 injury review, preview, update, overview thing we like to do every Saturday. And man, it's tricky this week. We got a lot going on, so I'll dive right in. There are a pair of Christmas Day Saturday games. The Browns and Packers already underway, so I'll leave that one out. If you're watching this before the kickoff of the Cardinals-Colts game tonight, James Conner expected to play, listed as questionable. Rondale Moore, a little less likely to play. The Colts ruled out players hours before kickoff, including Darius Leonard, star linebacker. Zach Pascal would be the skill player of interest there. In Leonard's case, he's not vaccinated. We'll miss the next week's game as well, and we'll talk more about that. So that's what we'll have heading into the Saturday night game. But let's get into the Sunday slate. I'll do, as always, chronological. You'll want to check the late-breaking update section of the site. Turns out things move quickly. Check Casey Joyner's sit-start injury update. You'll want to know that for sure. That'll have more stuff, and that'll be updated Sunday morning. Check the FSP staff rankings. That will be the latest place where everything is all in one spot, kind of your one-stop shop for all the latest information. You'll find links to all the articles of interest, and if you see your player listed way down at the bottom of the ranks, you'll know why. Probably because he's not going to play. There's a lot of that going on. Let's dive in. That starts with the Baltimore Ravens at Cincinnati. They'll be down to Josh Johnson at quarterback. This after Tyler Huntley went on the COVID reserve list today. He was initially listed as questionable for a non-COVID illness on Friday. Turns out that non-COVID illness was COVID. Lamar Jackson was listed as questionable as well. He is not making the trip, the team announced, so he is not playing this week either. That leaves Josh Johnson, signed from the Jets practice squad a week ago, to handle the starting job. He fared pretty well in the game for the Jets, so hopefully he can come out of nowhere and do that. Devin Duvernay ruled out as well in this game. The Bengals at full health. There you have it. So that moves on to the Minnesota Vikings hosting the Los Angeles Rams. There will be no Dalvin Cook. He's on reserve COVID, will not play, unvaccinated, so ruled out immediately. Adam Thielen listed as questionable. Could return this week. Said he was close last week. I'm guessing he will. Obviously, with Cook out, Alexander Mattison is the leading option there. Kene Onwangu is starting to come on a little bit, but I don't think you can get away from playing Mattison. Kirk Cousins had a little bit of a rib issue, but he's been practicing fully. Did not hit the final injury report. The Houston Texans hosting the Los Angeles Chargers, or what's left of them. Austin Eckler tested positive again Saturday. He is out due to COVID. Mike Williams was added to the COVID list on Saturday. He is not vaccinated, tested positive. He will not play this week or next week. Jalen Guyton also on reserve COVID. Andre Roberts on reserve COVID. I think the two receivers that we know their names of right now are Keenan Allen and Josh Palmer. In the backfield, Justin Jackson's first man up. Austin Eckler said as much during video interviews this week with our friend Liz Loza from Yahoo. Told Dawson Knox to go get Justin Jackson on his roster. Josh Kelly also in the mix. Larry Roundtree has been inactive the last few weeks, a healthy scratch. My guess is he'll be active, and who knows how it plays out. It's a great matchup for whoever the running back is. Starts with Jackson. On the other side of the ball, there will be no Brandon Cooks. He has been ruled out due to COVID. Jaime Fairbairn, the kicker. Don't think they've activated him. They did activate a practice squad kicker, so you might just want to avoid that situation altogether. David Johnson listed as questionable with a quadriceps injury. Might want to avoid that situation if you at all possibly can. The Texans not been producing a lot of offense outside of Brandon Cooks. So the New England Patriots and the Buffalo Bills, the big game. Damian Harris listed as questionable. Reporting from Foxborough is pretty positive. Sounds like he will go, and that's good news because Ramondre Stevenson's been ruled out. He is on the reserve COVID list as well. So Brandon Bolden also questionable, seems likely to play. N'Keal Harry questionable, seems likely to play. Nelson Aguilar ruled out due to illness. Nick Folk questionable. Kendrick Bourne, though, was activated from the COVID list. He will return this week. He will play this week, and they'll need him. On the other side, no Cole Beasley or Gabriel Davis, both unvaccinated, tested positive, will not play this week. So that means Emmanuel Sanders came off the injury report, so that's good news for them. So you're looking at guys like Jake Kumaro, Marquez Stevenson. Who knows? Top guys are going to be Stephon Diggs and Emmanuel Sanders, Dawson Knox for that part as well, tight end. So go with that. Tampa Bay Buccaneers are at the Carolina Panthers. By the way, the weather in this game is going to be bad, but not as bad as it was the last game in New England as it was in Buffalo for the initial Bills Patriots. Tampa Bay at Carolina. Leonard Fournette on injured reserve. Season over for our purposes. Chris Godwin, season over. Torn ACL last week. Mike Evans ruled out on Friday. Has a hamstring issue. Seemed unlikely to play, and now we know he won't. Rashad Perriman remains on reserve COVID. Seems like he will not be available either, so that leaves Antonio Brown as the top wide receiver on this team, coming back from, I think he last played week 6, ankle injury, then a 3-game suspension. Was limited in practice this week, maybe just because they were ramping him up in his return, but he avoided injury designation, so good to go. You're looking at Tyler Johnson, Scott Miller. Not a stellar crew outside of him. The tight ends, Rob Gronkowski, Cameron Brate, all looking good. Our own Jamie Calandro, DFS Quiz here on the site, is big on Cameron Brate. So he's got a lot of red zone targets, and he's interested. For the Carolina Panthers, DJ Moore listed as questionable with a hamstring. He's a game-time decision, did not practice all week. You'll want to watch that. Don't know who his quarterback might be at any moment. Cam Newton is set to start, but Sam Darnold, activated on Saturday from IR, will be available and will play. They need to see what they have in him. They got an investment in him, right? So expect to see both those quarterbacks play. The Detroit Lions are at the Atlanta Falcons. Jared Goff almost certainly will not play on the COVID reserve list. Tim Boyle will be the starter of that case. DeAndre Swift listed as questionable. Practice on a limited basis all week. I don't know that they'll force him back in the lineup. If they do, it's a great matchup. You want to play him. If they don't, Jamal Williams also back from reserve COVID. Might they ramp him up after an extended absence? Yes, Craig Reynolds has been playing extremely well at the position, so they have options there. Not good news for fantasy managers when a team has options, right? Josh Reynolds and Khalif Raymond both listed as questionable thigh and shoulder injuries. We'll watch for that. On the other side, Tajay Sharp listed as doubtful, all but certain not to play. Olamide Zaccheaus, Christian Blake, all maybe move up in the rotation there at wide receiver opposite Russell Gage. The Jacksonville Jaguars and New York Jets. These teams are not good. The Jets will be working without their head coach, Robert Saleh, and a number of players. Jamison Crowder listed as doubtful, right? He was their top receiver with Elijah Moore and Corey Davis already on IR. So Crowder is doubtful, almost certain not to play. Laviska Shenault Jr. on the other side on reserve COVID will not play. So maybe Tavon Austin moves up into his role. Laquan Treadwell's been busy. Marvin Jones been busy enough. It's not a great offense. James Robinson has the plum matchup. Expect a heavy dose of him. For the Jets, Keelan Cole, Denzel Mims, Braxton Berrios, so name to watch with assuming Crowder's out. For the New York Giants, sounds like Jake Fromm will be the starting quarterback. We don't know that for sure. They haven't announced it, but local reporters are suggesting that will be the case, and why wouldn't it be? Mike Glennon's not been playing well, right? Fair assessment that. All right, so there we have it. Kadarius Toney listed as questionable. Came off the reserve COVID list. Has quad and oblique problems. Still questionable. Still not a lock to play. It still probably shouldn't be a lock for you to play him given the quarterback situation there. It just allows the offense in general. Late afternoon kickoff window. For the Chiefs, good news there. Tyreek Hill has come off the COVID reserve list on Saturday. He will play. Travis Kelce, they activated him, but he's not cleared. The distinction is if he clears or he passes his test before the game tomorrow, they can put him in. He's officially listed as questionable for non-injury related reasons. Those reasons are COVID. So he has to test positive. It sounded like he was coming close. And so that'll be one to watch right up through kickoff. Harrison Butker, the kicker, will not play this week. If you need to find a pivot from him, go look at our staff rankings. You'll find out who's filling in and who some of the kickers available are that you might want to play ahead of the whoever is filling in. Pat Freiermuth on the other side of the ball has been ruled out with a concussion. Zach Gentry moves up. I'm not sure you want to play him either. For the Chicago Bears at the Seattle Seahawks, Justin Fields will not play. Andy Dalton will not play. Fields is officially questionable, but they've already said Nick Foles will start. It's not even clear if Fields will be the backup. Allen Robinson remains on reserve COVID. Don't know if he'll play. The guys are interested. Marquise Goodwin, I think, is listed as questionable. Don't know that you need to dive that deep in this offense. On the other side of the ball, everyone's basically good to go. Everyone's come off the COVID list. That was on the COVID list. Trevor Homas, Alex Collins, Tyler Lockett, etc. Will Dissly went on the list, though. He will not be available. So there's that. Russell Wilson obviously still dealing with the finger issue. Added an ankle, but practiced fully all week and avoided injury designation. For the Denver Broncos at Las Vegas, Teddy Bridgewater is out, and Drew Lock will get the start. Hopefully he can make some good decisions in this one. Hasn't been great for the offense other than the running backs. Both running backs are off the injury report. That's good news. Javonte Williams and Melvin Gordon. Their ongoing issues, Gordon, the hip, and the, what has he got? Thumb. And Williams has been dealing with a knee issue, but has been playing extremely well. They were both listed as questionable last week and played just fine. They're not listed at all this week. Neither is Cortland Sutton or Albert Okwuegbunam, the tight end. All avoided injury designation. On the other side of the ball, Darren Waller is listed as doubtful. They don't want to rule him out. They want to give him a chance. He's unlikely to make good on that chance. Foster Moreau came off the injury report. Josh Jacobs came off the injury report. So everybody should be good to go there except Waller. Sunday night, Dallas Cowboys hosting the Washington football team. Antonio Gibson listed as questionable with a new injury. It's a toe injury he suffered last week. Ron Rivera said it's similar to the one he had last season that required offseason surgery. But apparently maybe not as bad this time. So he looks like a true game time decision. It's a Sunday night kickoff. That's a hassle. Curtis Samuel listed as questionable with a hamstring. J.D. McKissick was placed on injured reserve. He will not be available the rest of the season. Monday Night Football, Saints are a mess. Ian Book, the likely starter at quarterback, with Taysom Hill, Trevor Siemian, both on reserve COVID and not cleared to play. They were calling Drew Brees, Phillip Rivers, all kinds of players, seeing if they could come in and give him a hand, and nobody could. So Ian Book, the rookie out of Notre Dame, will get the start at quarterback. It appears Adam Troutman also on reserve COVID. Miami, everyone looks like they're in pretty good shape there. Philip Lindsay's a little beat up, but don't know if you're digging that deep on the situation. So there we have it. Things are very fluid. Check back. Look at the late-breaking update section of the site. Read Casey Joyner's sit-start injury report. There will be a Sunday morning update to that. Check that out as well if you get a chance. We'll have live videos early Sunday morning. The Line of Scrimmage Cash Game Show with John Lobb will be then. Our pregame video with Jason Brady and Jamie Calandro will be then. I'll be on the radio, Sirius XM Fantasy Sports Radio, that is, doing the pregame show with Jeff Mans from 11 to 1. So check that out if you get a chance as well. We'll be going through all the inactives. And, of course, on the site, we'll have all your inactives in real time. So be sure to join us. I hope you've had a great Christmas. Great holiday season. Even with all the craziness in the fantasy football world, we'll all get through it and forge onward, and hope you have a successful weekend. Good luck, everybody.